Hello,
Hello.
and welcome to Our MBTI Is KPOP podcast,
Episode 1.
episode 1.
Very cozy. Cozy
Yeah,
setup.
clearly. And if you don't know already, my name is ENFP.
And I'm INTJ, or DJ INTJ, and JTini.
And yeah, this is our first episode of the podcast. Our MBTI is K-pop.
Yes, we
Woo!
decided to switch things up a little bit.
Yes. If you don't know already, if you're listening on somewhere other than YouTube, we originally started, or we still are.
We started primarily doing reactions to K-pop videos and other music videos. And that is something we're still going to incorporate,
Mm-hmm.
just in a different format, which we can get to later.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, we just wanted to switch it up. I think we kind of realized that one of our favorite parts of the reaction videos is when we would like talk about stuff kind of in depth at the end of them, and just said why not try to do something a little bit more relaxed where we can just pick certain topics and talk about them. That not not every topic is like going to be, it's not like breaking news topics, but just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, discussion topics about K-pop
Yeah.
in general, and
K-pop and stuff.
to give some, like maybe a little catch up about what we've been doing in between, because I think we're thinking twice a month for these. So yeah, we're just something we're trying out and hoping um, will fit into our schedules a little bit better, and we'll just be more, just fall more in line with, I guess, what we want to talk about and do.
Yeah.
Just have new ways to talk about K-pop other than playing games or like reacting to videos.
Yeah, I think we wanted to be more than just a react channel because, sometimes at the end when we're just discussing things, we kind of want to go on not a rant, but just have a discussion about things that are relevant to the music video we watched. But then, we don't want the video to be like 30 minutes long. So we figured why not just do it all in a whole separate entity. So
Right.
here we are. So today, the main topic we're going to kick off the first episode with, we're going to talk about K-pop concerts and, kind of our experience with them, what we think about them, things like that.
Because we have been to probably too many this year.
Well, this
K-pop and
year,
concerts in general.
yeah, this year, I don't 100% know. We've definitely been to a majority of the ones that we've been to, like, all together. So we've seen 15 groups, like, in total. But most of them were definitely this year. I think maybe 3 to 4 were last year. But we've been jam
Yeah.
packed with not only K-pop concerts, but other Western artists that we like. Which,
Festivals,
yeah, we've been to festivals. We saw New Jeans at Lollapalooza. That was
which we'll
cool.
get into though, because that was a complicated experience. But yeah, another thing that we do on the channel is also just the concert highlights
Hmm.
and vlogs. But even the concerts that we, not every concert has like a full vlog with it, and even the ones that do, those vlogs were kind of right after the fact. So I think it's kind of fun to reflect on it now that we're getting close to the end of the year. We have
Hmm.
no additional concerts on the schedule as of now
So weird.
to end the year. So,
It's very unlike us, I feel like.
and I feel like there's a lot to say about our experiences with the concerts this year, and then just in a general sense, K-pop concerts compared to other concerts. Because yeah,
Hmm.
we as I said, we go to a lot of them. It's one of our favorite um, things to do, and I feel like we kind of got carried away this year a little bit.
A little bit.
But it was
That's all
definitely
right.
fun.
All right. So we're going to kind of basically run through every K-pop concert we've been to because there are like little things in each one that we can kind of branch off of and things that we've learned in our experiences and just things that we've seen with all the K-pop concerts we've been to because we have been through a handful.
And a
Um,
lot of it has been like pretty recent too.
yeah.
Like starting like the end of summer last year was our first one, and then
Yeah, like middle summer.
all the
Yeah.
way until a week
Like,
ago,
yeah.
where we
So
had two of them.
we've been to 15 in like a year and like a few months. So, even though we haven't been going for like a long time, I feel like we've seen so much. I mean, we don't have any basis to compare it to how K-pop groups, how they were first coming to the US, because I'm sure that was a whole
It seems like way more
other
now,
thing.
though.
Yeah, well,
It
yeah,
seems like
very
very,
accessible.
very, uh, or much more common, I think, than even when we first, or at least when I first started listening a couple years ago now. I
Now
feel
they're
like
at
we didn't see
like
too many, but now
they're at American music festivals.
yeah,
Like, I'm sure they've been in some.
American award shows even, and the movie awards and
Yeah,
Billboard awards, I think even.
yeah, the VMAs. Yeah, all of
Yeah,
that.
so it's definitely picked up a lot, and I think that's why we've gone to so many concerts this year. We really
Oh yeah, you
try to
gotta
like
seize the
support.
opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't know when groups are gonna break up, which actually kind of ties in nicely with
Our
our first
first
group. Yeah,
one.
our very first
Yeah.
concert, at least in their.
In that sense, I guess.
Yeah, I mean they're still together, but
Yeah.
they had a rebrand.
So, if you can guess from kind of that cluing in, our first K-pop concert was Brave Girls back in July of 2022. Back as in like it was like so long ago.
They're now the BB Girls.
They're now the BB Girls. They were hot off of their Queendom run and we thought I had a feeling they were going to break up. It was their first and only, I think, US tour as Brave Girls.
And we
So
were really rooting for them
we
on
were.
Queendom. We became uh, fans of them, I would say, through Queendom. We had liked them and we're like happy they were on it. But we were really rooting for them. They were the underdogs.
Yeah.
They got. I think it was a little. Their time on there was a little unfair, but I think we talked about that in a Brave Girls reaction that we did.
Oh, yeah. But we won't dive too much into it because we got,
Yeah.
14 others to run into. But it was obviously very memorable because, it was our first K-pop concert. We didn't know going in, like, how are they going to talk to us? Are they going to try to speak English? Is it just going to be they sing their songs? How's this all going to play out? And then we found out about the VVIP and the VIP options that now I feel like we've really only seen with K-pop groups, like Western
Yeah.
artists, and like the rest of them do like platinum, where obviously are on in the pit, and you know you get maybe sound check or I don't know, something like that, but
Yeah,
it's
I'm not
not.
too sure, but we've
Yeah,
definitely not seen it as an option for anybody that we've really seen.
yeah.
But yeah, I was just gonna say, just that it's the one we saw longest ago, but I I remember it very like detailed. It's probably one of the ones I remember the most,
Yeah.
actually, just because it was our first K-pop one. Like you were saying, we didn't know what to expect. It was at like a small venue that we had never been to before
Yeah, we were used
or
to.
heard of before.
Yeah, we're from Chicago, so we're used to the United Center, Allstate Arena. With going to K-pop concerts, they're not expecting like 10,000 people or something, so we've definitely been able to explore more smaller venues, which is cool.
Yeah, it's been cool to see
It makes it
different ones,
intimate.
and I just remembering wondering what the like crowd was going to be like
The
were they going to
vibes.
have a lot of people there.
Yeah.
From what I remember, it was more full, I think, than I was originally expecting it to be. And we actually got a pretty good spot for
Yeah, we
that
were
one.
like 3 rows up. I mean, it was GA, but yeah, the vibes of like people go to see K-pop, I think are generally good. Granted, we have only seen we've only seen girl groups excluding Card,
And
who's
Epic High.
obviously an Epic High, but like Epic High is hip hop, you know,
Yeah.
and Card is mixed. So we can't speak for like purely boy groups, but I feel like at the girl
Well,
group
we saw
ones,
TXT too,
that was at Lollapalooza. So
but
yeah,
they still
yeah.
count.
But that was good vibes there too.
Yeah.
That was a good vibe. So I feel like the vibes were really cool. Like everyone was so hype.
They were great live. Probably among my favorites, I think, that we saw. They even though the members didn't speak much English, they were
Yeah.
still like very engaging
Oh yeah.
with the crowd, and like I don't know, they seemed like they loved it, like
Yeah.
just the hype of the American crowds.
They definitely do the best they can considering they can't speak. I mean, it seemed like I know it just seems like they try, to do the best they can even though they don't speak English. With the
Yeah, I think they were
translator
still
and
one of
just,
the.
you know,
No, I'm just saying it's
taking people's phones and like interacting with them
yeah.
and like kind of going around and saying hi to everybody. So, which is cool because some, people some artists that do speak English kind of take advantage of that, being able to communicate so easily.
Well, yeah, I wasn't saying that as like a bad thing. I was saying
No,
even
yeah.
though they didn't really speak much English, they were still one of the more engaging
Yeah.
groups that we've seen. Like just it's lost, I guess, when you try to like if you watch like a stage performance or something, you don't actually see the members that aren't on camera what they're doing, unless you're like watching a fan cam or something. So I remember just being very impressed with the like eye contact that each of the members would like try to make with everybody. And like just people making like half a heart and they would complete the other half or whatever.
Yeah. That was new. I mean, you see
It
it
was new to
like
us for
on
sure.
like YouTube and stuff. We were like watching YouTube videos of their previous stops. So it happens, but it's just cool to see it like that.
And they're very underrated, I would say, just as a group. Well, I mean, most of their whole set list was really enjoyable. Recommend the B-side Help Me if you get a chance. That was like my
Yeah.
favorite discovery of seeing them. And it was our first high touch.
Yes. Okay. So also with things that we have learned with K-pop concerts, some groups don't. They just have tickets and that's it. But other ones have like a VIP, VVIP. So a part of that is you can take a picture with the group.
Which was
You
not
can.
available for Brave Girls,
It's
though.
not available for
That's
Brave
a
Girls.
kind of a more recent.
Only the last people in the high touch got to do a picture with the girls, which I was very jealous of.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we should have tried to be more last, but
There was
either
no way
way,
we would have known.
it was very crazy for the first time. Like, because it's not the first musical artist that we've met
Right.
and like gotten to interact with.
Right. If you've ever met like an idol, a K-pop idol in person, it's like kind of jarring. I mean, they're smaller than you think they are. They're like so pretty and they look like dolls. And, it's just like, it was kind of shocking. Like,
It was.
in a good way,
We were so
obviously.
hype about it
I know.
afterwards. We
Because
were
you go on the
shocked.
line and you go, yeah, and they say, thank you, thank you. And then after you're like, oh.
I just thought it was crazy just because like Brave Girls like at this point are not, they weren't like considered like a air quote like hot group or
Mhm.
whatever, you know,
Mhm.
like I didn't, they're like little older, you know, they're not like a
Mhm.
young group or
Mhm.
anything. And I was still surprised at how good like how they looked like all the things that you described. It
Yeah.
was just like shocking because
Yeah.
they're, you just wouldn't like expect it,
Mhm.
you know, from a group that's like been around longer. But
But it's still cool,
it was
like that they
cool.
can offer all of those things, taking a picture with them, taking individual selfies with them, high touch, going to their sound check, things like that. And yes, it's like a money market. I'm fully aware that, K-pop companies are trying to take your money, but like it's still a cool experience. I feel like the prices aren't like obscene like with
They're getting there
some.
now,
They're
but
getting there.
they had primarily haven't been
Yeah.
for the most part.
For like, I mean, if you really like a group and you really, want to experience more than just like the concert and you feel like those additives are worth it, then heck yeah. Like, you know.
Most people, I think, end up deciding that it is worth it from what we've seen.
So our next K-pop experience was actually an unexpected one. Because at Lollapalooza, TXT replaced someone at Perry's, one of the stages that
Which is
couldn't make
primarily
it.
EDM stage.
Yes. So that was kind of crazy. They were going to be the first K-pop group
Group.
ever to perform at Lala unexpectedly. I don't know what Hybe did or
And
how
they
they
were,
snuck in there.
yeah, well, and they were only overshadowed by J-Hope being the first like headliner on a
Mhm.
day, but they were
Mhm.
still the first K-pop act, period,
Yeah.
and then first boy
Period.
group.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, and we pretty much went that day exclusively
Yeah.
to see them,
For TXT.
and
They
it was
were
definitely worth it though.
they are the only full boy group that we've seen, and like it was so good. Like
They had a live band,
they
I
had a live
remember.
band, and the stage, like, they just like overtook it. Like they were so friendly and funny when they were trying to speak English. I feel like their set list was like perfect vibes. They played their hits and they just made it so fun. And there were people, people wait at stages for usually like the people after if they want like a good seat. And I feel like the people who were waiting, whoever was next, and saw them were actually bopping.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was probably my favorite part of seeing them, just because I've been to Lala at least one day, like every year that it's happened uh, since 2016. So one year even uh, before ENFP and I started like going every year, and like Perry's is like a notorious like, it's like all EDM, like
Like
the
crazy like
headbangers,
effects
like,
and like,
and it's
yeah.
somewhat deemed like a shady-ish stage, I think, sometimes as far as the crowd goes. So I think a lot of the crowd there didn't know who TXT is and like what to expect with them. So I was
Mhm.
really interested to see if how the crowd would react. The crowd that just was at that stage to hear EDM DJs. And so it was fun to see like the bros, like the kind of the frat dude EDM raver people kind of like
Yeah.
turn to leave, but then kind of be like,
Yeah.
this is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
like people were getting into it, and then like you'd look around and see the people that were actually there for them like really vibe into it or singing along with it.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, they did. I think it's probably still on YouTube, but obviously they've since had a
Headlined.
headlined it.
Yeah.
So, but it was really cool to finally get to see a K-pop act at Lala, because we
We're big
weren't,
Lala people.
and we were like pretty set on not going, I think, even at all that year.
And we went 2 days. One day to see TXT, and the other day was to bring your brother too, and you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, we saw like Dua Lipa and everything that day, so it was still good. Um, but yeah, and I know a lot. I think the other noteworthy thing of that is just that who's the one member who had like was the only one that didn't enjoy the experience?
Subin, yeah, he was disappointed with. He felt like he didn't do his best, even though like the rest of the members were like on top of the world. But
But yeah,
that's all
they
right.
were great. So that one, that was a.
It was
It
like a
counts as like a half, like 3/4 of a point because they only
yeah,
played for like 45 minutes. It wasn't a full
but it was still
their full
like
show, but it was
still
important for
cool.
us to be there. I think it was nice to see Chicago's premier mainstream music festival have a K-pop act, and then they also had I think J-Hope was also a last minute addition to the
Yeah, he
lineup,
He
and
was.
we didn't go that day just by choice. We didn't know how crazy it would be, and we didn't
It
know,
was crazy.
and it looked like it was a pretty full stage.
It was crazy.
But we were happy to get to be a part of Lala history as far as K-pop goes.
The next concert we went to was the infamous Chicago stop of Luna.
Yeah, that one.
We got eaten alive on Twitter, the Chicago crowd at
Yeah,
that
and
Luna
but
concert.
I didn't think. I mean, I don't know. We were way, way in the back. It was
We
one of
went
the
last
fuller.
minute
Yeah,
also.
and it was at the Radius, which we love, but it was super full. I mean, the crowd, as far as what we could tell, seemed to just be like a crowd that was really enjoying the show.
A little too much, maybe. I don't
Yeah, I
know.
guess there was some. Well, I don't know. They were already a member short.
Yeah, the members were like, they were falling like crazy.
Yeah, and they had a. I don't know. I don't remember the full context now. I just remember a part of me feeling like they maybe kind of overreacted a little bit
If you don't
to what was
know,
happening.
you can look it up. We're not going to say what happened, who did what, who upset who, whatever, because I feel like there's perspectives from different fans, and because it was just that their tour, I'm sorry, was a mess to begin with.
It was.
And it was an experience. We went because we like Luna, obviously, Paint the Town, Butterfly, all that.
And they were also on Queendom, so
Yeah, it was definitely different, only because we could see kind of how messy it was with everything.
Yeah.
I mean, I know the girls really tried, and it was an enjoyable concert, but that's where we kind of saw like, oh, this is going kind of weirdly. I don't know. It wasn't my favorite, only because I'm not like a Luna stan or something, but you know,
Yeah, I think just comparing it to like Brave Girls,
yeah, that being
Brave
like,
Girls really, and even TXT, and I think like, I don't know, they just seem to like embrace being here more because I mean, obviously, American crowds, at least judging from music shows anyway, seem to be a lot more intense than like Korean crowds. And I don't know if that was Luna's first tour or not, but it really gave vibes that it was their first tour in the
yeah.
U.S. And I don't recall if it was or not, but either way, it felt like it was. So they just seemed a little overwhelmed by
Yeah.
the crowd instead of like trying to kind of be one with us, I guess.
Yeah.
Because like there was just a lot of commotion, but like it didn't even reach like the back. It felt
We didn't
like
know what was going on.
it
It
just
was
felt
just
like the members were
chaos.
trying to talk, and then the crowd like cheering out just took a little too long to die down,
Yeah,
and then
it
they
was just
got
weird.
and yeah, and I think like one of the members left because of it.
Kim Lip.
Yeah, and I remember being disappointed just because they were already a member short.
There were multiple
Because
members short.
well, yeah, but I think like Chu didn't make it,
Chu,
but
yeah.
that was like the tour as a whole.
Mm-hmm.
And then I don't know if somebody else was feeling like sick that day or
It
something,
was something like that, yeah.
but
I
just
don't
like
remember.
I just remember hearing after the fact that one of the members left like in protest, and like I didn't whatever happened, it didn't sound like it was bad enough that like they only tour so often, and fans of K-pop are pretty like die hard and
Yeah, I
very
think it
loyal,
was
and
just,
it just was
yeah.
disappointing that there wasn't a way to like soldier through the whole thing just for the fans that weren't causing problems, which I feel was like the vast majority there,
Yeah,
from
I
what we
know
can
that
see.
there's like some divide in like the K-pop fans where some are like they'll make these big signs and like, they want to do the most, and then there are other fans who are just they just really love their music and they just want to, have a good time, and it I mean that's how it is with like, a lot of people, but
Yeah, but
that's where I think that concert is where we really saw like some people will go crazy and like some K-pop fans like really get ahead of themselves, or like, you know and then you kind of see it at the K-pop idols expense and then at everyone's expense because the vibe's kind of ruined. You're missing a member and it just like
but yeah,
is, yeah.
but I mean at the same time that's pretty much the only time that we've seen something like that happen at a K-pop
That's
show.
true.
So
That's very true.
that's why I'm like, we go to a lot of concerts, and most of the crowds that we're a part of always feel like they're pretty good.
Yeah.
So that's why like I don't remember the full details, but I do remember at the time being like feeling like Luna kind of let the fans down and gave Chicago like a really bad reputation when it that wasn't what the show was like from our perspective being there,
Mhm.
but we
Mhm.
weren't close enough to know really what was going on up front. But yeah, anyway.
I will say, after the Chicago Brave Girls concert, the company that's like, I don't know, helping them, like traveling with them with the venues and stuff, did kind of call us out and say, from now on, you can't throw stuff
Well, I
on
think
the
because one of the
stage.
members was dancing with like the pride flag or something, and
No,
that
I
was
think it was
like
just because there was an onslaught of items being thrown.
which they gladly accepted.
I know, but,
They were like, that's part of what made that concert so fun. But either way,
yeah.
um,
Just piggybacking off of the Chicago thing. It was like, that happened and this happened. So anyway, our next one was Itzy. Hey, their first US tour, their Chicago stop. And we had before, like, when we first got into K-pop together in 2021, something like that,
yeah,
we were riding hard for Itzy. They were
we were. They
like
were our favorite,
unstoppable. We love them. We watched their Parisian trip. We
and we still do love them, but not
we
at that level.
not yes. At that time we were like peak mid-seas. So, we went to their Itzy concert. We were so prepared. We got when we found out they were touring, it was amazing. We're not going to talk about that comeback that disappointed us, but the actual concert was a lot of fun. Each of the
It was
members
good.
had like, a solo stage. I don't, have we experienced that before?
No, I think that was our first one with solo stages actually.
Oh, okay. Yeah, like they each did either their own cover. Well, yeah, they each did their own cover of a song, and it was
Nina's Maniac
fun.
was very good.
Yeah, it felt like I don't know why, but like, it felt so much like theater where there were like acts and little,
They were the
compared to like Luna and Brave Girls and TXT, it just felt like a true like first taste of a K-pop concert where
It
you
was a
know,
slightly bigger group. It was at Rosemont
right,
Theater.
right. And they're
First one there.
obviously JYP, they're
Right.
bigger. And, it was their tour. So it was very, curated. And I loved it.
Yeah, it was good. Like, just had wish that sneakers hadn't come because we were like we were so excited on them when we bought the tickets like way months in advance.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
We
we
weren't
were a little
rea-
disappointed about the
we
sneakers
weren't
comeback, but
reactors back then. But if we had filmed a reaction
to
video,
sneakers, yeah, we would
that
have.
would have been bad.
But their show was good, and it
Mm-hmm.
was we got to be there for your cousin's first K-pop concert. But yeah, I can't really remember anything else about it other than just being excited
Yeah, it was
to
really
be
good.
there.
Yeah.
Our seats were good.
So our first concert of 2023 was Dreamcatcher.
And that one was very much on a whim.
It was, yeah.
Because they were at the Radius, which we love, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think the tickets were too bad.
GA tickets compared to seated tickets are
Yeah, we
the
love the
best.
GA shows.
Yeah.
Like especially if the non-seated GA shows.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I just remember watching Dreamcatcher perform at a music festival on YouTube, and I was like, oh, they'd be awesome to see live. And then they were touring. I still think a music festival setting would be like the coolest way to see them.
Probably.
But they were good. Like we went last minute, so I feel like it was rushed on our on our end. But they played a lot of good ones, and yeah, I had fun. It was before we were doing like the vlogs or anything with our channel.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember liking it, and then they ended up being one. Weren't they one of our earliest reactions was to a Dreamcatcher song?
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like it was. But they're a cool group in K-pop, and
Mm-hmm.
they have members that can even speak Spanish, I think.
Yeah, they're
So
a cool
they're
group.
cool. They're a really cool group.
They're not your conventional girl group, so it's cool.
Yeah, that was, and they have a cool light stick.
They do. It's
They
a
have like,
staff.
yeah, it's a really badass light stick.
Oh, people were
That's one that I
like,
would want.
they're going to war or something. Like, huh, huh, huh.
It was
It's
cool, and the rapper's really cool.
Oh yeah.
I'm bad with remembering names, so
Well, and another
that's a
thing
flaw.
with like K-pop concerts, we see them, notifications like this person's touring and this person, and we find, we maybe hear about them a little bit. Like, to me, like Dreamcatcher, like I maybe heard some of their songs, but when you like K-pop in general and you see that a K-pop group is touring, you kind of want to like, learn about them and see if you
Right.
do want to see them. And it kind of helps you like explore kind of outside of your comfort zone, at least for
Right.
me. Because some groups don't tour, for a while. Even if you do like them, you don't know when they're going to go on tour. Some groups don't do comebacks every year or twice a year or even every other year like they used to, because stuff happens. But it makes you, if you're a concert goer and you like K-pop, makes you like listen to other groups. I think that's cool.
Yeah, you get to get more familiar with B-sides and
Mm-hmm.
stuff, and
Know the
I mean,
members.
yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
when we knew that we were seeing somebody, I would listen to their whole discography for like a side series that I was doing with our YouTube channel, so that gave me a chance to get more familiar. But like together we would see what they're like on like variety shows, or look at watch concert footage from earlier stops on the same tour. So yeah, to your point, it's a good chance to like get to know more groups and like know them more than just their title songs.
Mm-hmm.
And until recently, the tickets were also very cheap to go see them, so it made it easier to go to so many.
Mm-hmm.
But recently, it's been kind of crazy.
So after that we saw one of my OG favorite groups, Epic High, at the Radius. Ooh, I don't know if you can see I'm wearing an Epic High hoodie. Um, they were, they're, I mean, they're made of men. You know, they're a boy group if you really want to put it vaguely, but they're a Cape hip hop group. They do their own writing, producing. Yeah, it was definitely like a concert more that I convinced INTJ kind of to go to because he wasn't super familiar with them. But that it was like this blend of like Western K-pop sort of in the middle because Tableau, he speaks English very well, obviously, but you know they mainly rap and sing in Korean, and their influences are pulled from both. And it was, I don't know, I like memorized the set list like the back of my hand, so I was super excited. And
And that was our
yeah,
first vlog.
that was our very first concert vlog
Yeah.
because of how awesome it was.
Yeah, and I just remember that they were um, really funny, like entertaining, just in between songs, and that
Yeah.
that Tableau is he's a really good rapper. I mean, they all are, but um, I know Tableau, does a lot of the writing and producing and everything for them. Um, but yeah, they were good. I knew probably the least about them out of all the groups that we saw, so that was fun for me. But it was extra fun just because of how fun it was for ENFP. So
Yeah.
that's what I remember of that one. But that was good, and it was just the start of our like vlogging.
Yeah, our YouTube journey kind of started around there. So,
Yeah, that was a
yeah.
good one. And at the Radius, always good.
So, Pixie was the next concert we went to, and that was really the first concert where we, you know, I mean,
Where
we
that
got VVIP tickets, but because of work and stuff, we weren't able to go to like the sound check and like the fan sign and stuff. But we were able to do selfies.
and
That
it's
was
the
our
first one that
first.
I saw that even offered selfies.
Yeah, correct. So Pixie was awesome. I mean, it
Very
was
intimate
very
concert.
intimate, more of the jankier seatings, I think.
Yeah, it was kind of like
It was a folding chair
yeah,
situation.
first come first serve with like
The
seats. We were
seating.
pretty late,
Yeah.
but early in terms of we were late for VVIP, but early in terms of the show because it hadn't started yet.
And that was our
Um,
first experience with it's seated, but it's first come, first serve. So, like,
which not really a fan of.
no, not a
I'd
fan
rather
either.
if it's GA just
Just stand.
yeah, let me maneuver.
Yeah.
Don't like trap me
Yeah.
in a spot. But it was, I mean, it wasn't a very big theater, so and all the seats were good. I think to like be
Yeah,
able to
there wasn't like
see
a bad seat. It was just,
and
it
really
wasn't like a theater.
and really affordable merch.
Oh my
Cause they had like a
God.
light stick for like
It
20
was like
bucks, and I got
$20.
like a hat. You got like a sweater. I mean, the merch was pretty good.
Yeah.
Um, the I remember they had like a high touch, and the selfies, which seems a little bit redundant to me when that's offered. I don't know
Yeah.
that you necessarily need to get both unless you're like getting the full package.
Cause high touch, it's like it's generally just like an assembly line of just dun, dun, like one
Yeah,
right
you
after.
just give like a high
You
five
can't
and
really
that's it.
talk to them. You can't really give them anything. It's just the act of high fiving them, which is cool if that's what you want to do. But like the selfies are like just a little more intimate.
Yeah, you're talking to them anyway.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure you could even pick a high five as a pose if you really wanted to.
Yeah,
But I don't know.
that's
I
true.
didn't try that.
I didn't think
So,
about that.
because we didn't get the full VVIP though, because we bought tickets kind of late. I think we added the selfies at the end because we decided that it would be an experience worth going for.
Yeah.
Because those are not, they're usually like an extra, like, I don't know. Well, no, we don't have to go in there. But yeah, we also just noticed that a lot of the other people who were there to see them also did the selfies and high touch.
Yeah, it's
So you are there generally a little bit later if you do those because it's way at the end.
yeah.
But it's really cool.
It's cool to have a K-pop idol take a selfie with you because they're the ones holding the phones. You get to pick a pose with them. You have to. It is chaotic with like making because some people get like 5 tickets with one person, or some people only get like 3 selfie tickets, and some people you go. So the lines aren't equal,
Right. People
and
go.
you have to be
It's
fast because you can't hold the line up too much, and people are like, oh, this line's open, anybody, because they don't want the idol just standing there for like 20 minutes. They
Right.
want it to be flowing. So it's chaotic.
You're not able to take like a in order approach
Yeah.
because the lines are just different.
Right.
People,
Just
the
gotta
most
make
popular people in the groups have the longest lines. But I feel like that was maybe like one of the early experiments with the selfie things because when we talk about Purple Kiss, it was much more organized than the Pixie was, I think, for the selfies.
Yeah, I have to agree.
But it was still really cool, and all the members were pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it's just cool. I don't know. I mean, we had the vlog out for that one, so I think we talked about it a lot after that. So you can check that out on our channel.
Yeah. And then after Pixie, in the summer of this year, we saw Mama Moo, Mama Moo.
Mama Moo, yes.
Mama Moo.
I wasn't going to sing along with you.
So I love their concert, love Mama Moo, but we went to an arena, a stadium, whatever, where you had to sit down. You had to keep sitting.
Yeah,
at least in
nobody
our
stood.
section.
Yeah.
No one was standing, and it was infuriating. I'm the type of person where I want to enjoy a concert. Like, they think that's why I enjoy GA, because you can move. You don't have to,
Right.
you're not like, trapped. You can just move. Like, I'm not one to just like, at a concert, like just bop my head, like whatever.
And I also, I mean, I don't know if this is too much information, but I have to take frequent trips to the bathroom also, and GA is just much easier to maneuver.
Yeah.
When everybody is sitting down, like I'm the asshole that has to make everybody stand up.
Yeah.
If we're not on an aisle seat.
Yeah.
And I feel like we weren't from Mamamoo. I think I had to
Yeah.
like go down and like around people. And so at one
It was
point
just weird.
I think I stayed standing in
Yeah.
front of you because there was like,
Yeah.
we were on like
Yeah.
a raised platform.
Yeah.
And at a point I was just like, I need to just stand somewhere where I'm not blocking anybody's view for a while,
It was
because
just weird.
it's weird to just sit.
And it just like ruins the vibe. I think Twice was at that same arena
No.
like a couple years ago, and people had the same complaints. They were like, it was not a good time because you had to sit if you were like up on the 200 level or whatever. And that's just like, who cares? Like, it should be everyone stands. That's the only experience that we've had. We've never had an experience where you had to sit. It was so odd. So it was like, you're waving your light stick and you're just kind of doing one of these in your seat. But I feel like it was just weird.
But they were good.
They were so good. Oh my God.
And it was the first show that there were noticeably more like bros there. It was like the first time I started seeing more bros. Like I actually had to wait a little bit in the bathroom, like a line occasionally, which was the first time that's happened at any K-pop concert for me.
Yeah.
It's usually like the most deserted spot. But they were good. It was a good show. I like that they did the solo stages of each other.
Oh,
that was like the unique
that was
thing about
amazing.
their setup.
Yes.
And
Only
I do really
Mamamoo.
like their solos a lot.
Yeah,
When it
it
comes
was
to
good.
Mamamoo, so that
Yeah.
that was a cool feature of their show.
And that was the first concert where we had bought a light stick before going to the concert.
Uh,
Because at Pixie we bought at the
no,
concert.
Itzy we bought them in advance,
Oh, that's right. Never mind. But
but
still,
they're technically a light ring.
yeah,
Mamamoo's a light stick, so
yeah, light stick, not one ring. But anywho, and then after that was probably my favorite, alongside Epic High, my
no,
favorite concert.
wait. Oh, Twice was before New Jeans.
Yes,
That's who
Twice
you're
was.
talking about. Twice. Yeah, they
Yeah,
were in June,
Twice
end of
was at the
June.
end of June this year. You guys, they were at the United Center. Okay, we had amazing seats because I jumped on Ticketmaster when they announced their Ready to Be tour.
Our,
Perfection. Holy guacamole. If you get a chance to see Twice live, just do it.
yeah, and I remember being impressed that they were at the UC, because Mamamoo
Mm-hmm.
was at an arena, but Wintrust Arena is where they
Yes,
were at,
Wintrust.
and
That's it.
it's like bigger than a step up from Rosemont, but below like Allstate.
Yeah.
Like it's smaller than Allstate, smaller than United Center.
Yeah.
It's so it's like I think it's is it a college arena? Does a
I
college
don't
team play
know.
there? I
I
don't
don't
know,
know.
but the United Centers were like that's our
That's
premier, I guess,
our stadium. Yeah.
other than like a football or
Like
or
Soldier
whatever,
Field. Yeah.
So that was the biggest place Twice could have played, and I think they sold it
They
out 2 nights in a
showed
row.
out 2 nights in a row.
So we had the second night. But yeah, that was the first vlog that I did the filming and editing for, um, just so I could contribute more
Mm-hmm.
to the whole channel. So that one was particularly like, I mean, I got through the edit very late. It was one of the longest ones it took me to edit, but
It
it's
was
only because I
so
filmed so
good.
much and they were so good.
Yeah, and like I think that was like our like biggest in terms of like an audience, our biggest K-pop concert
Yeah,
at the
yeah, it was at
United Center.
yeah, because it was the big yeah.
So that was just it was just so surreal. Like intimate concerts are great, but like when you're in a stadium full of people who also love this group, and it's K-pop and it's like one of the biggest groups in the K-pop groups in the world. It's cool. It's such a surreal
Yeah,
experience.
I mean, I would imagine maybe Blackpink's topping or tour being like the only equivalent for K-pop in Chicago, as far as big
Yeah.
groups that have like come here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but we miss Blackpink, so like seeing Twice was the biggest group that we have seen.
Yeah.
I think even to date, they're the biggest group that we've seen so
Yeah.
far, and like that was a real show. Um, I remember telling my brother about it and saying that like they were like the Taylor Swift. They did like a Taylor Swift style show for K-pop kind of thing because they played for
Hmm.
like almost 3 hours.
Yes.
And yeah, they just all had good solos. Like some of their biggest songs are in a medley at the at the
Yeah.
end. Like they
They
don't
can't
even
even fit it.
yeah, because they just have so much. So I mean, Twice
Right.
is good, and that was a I want to say that was the first show that with backup dancers, or did I don't think Itzy had them at that point because it was maybe
No, they
still
did.
they did
For
for our
Mafia
tour.
in the morning, yeah.
Are you sure?
I'm like pretty sure.
I can't remember, but I don't have any video footage of that one, so I can't. I like
I might be wrong,
I know like their
but
Soul show they did that we
Mama
maybe
Moo had
watched
backup
before.
dancers too.
Did they? I don't know. Twice we had like big set pieces
Oh,
and stuff though.
yeah.
Like I mean, it was like a big
It was a
show.
production.
Yeah.
Production.
Um,
Broadway theater.
I definitely feel like we got our money's worth for
Oh
that
my
for
God.
sure. Uh,
I paid we paid feel like I paid way more for bad seats for bigger artists. I don't know. It was It was just magical in every aspect.
We
Buying
got
the
there
tickets, picking the
right on
seats.
time.
We got there right on time.
Got my favorite hoodie. Probably
The
their
lights,
hoodies are amazing.
their merch was
Yeah,
awesome.
it was
The fave.
one of my best, like one of the most comfortable hoodies I probably got
Yeah.
out of like anything, not even merch. It's just super
And
comfortable
K-pop,
hoodie.
like their merch goes. Sometimes the merch just doesn't hit. It misses hard. But when it slaps, it really does. Especially with the bigger groups, which is kind of unfortunate. But the bigger groups have good merch. They're good tour merch.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then just my brother had a chance to go, and he turned down a date offer to go to Twice.
Could have
And
found love
and
at a
then he
Twice
told me
concert.
after I showed him how cool it was, he said he regretted it. So his loss, but
Don't be someone that regrets
not
not going
going
to
to
a Twice concert.
just see them.
Just see them.
You won't regret it.
So after Twice, we went and saw Card.
Card was awesome.
Unexpectedly, too. Very off, winged it. We winged it for the
Ye-
Card concert.
Yeah, and it was our first time at that theater, the Chicago theater, with like the classic Chicago
Marquee.
marquee. And they were awesome. I don't know. I like that was one of my favorites in a way.
Yeah.
Just like I mean, they really good crowd engagement.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Their songs go hard. Like,
yeah,
come on.
and like BM is like he's like a I don't know, he's a goofball, I guess. I don't know what to say about BM other than that. He's
He's
just like a funny like
a himbo.
yeah, but he made it um entertaining and I think it was cool to see like a mixed group because
Yeah.
like the girls did their own song song or two, and then the guys did their own songs. And it's I've always liked that dynamic of theirs, like in their songs,
Yeah.
but it also just came through like with the concert too.
Yeah.
Like
It got us, like, we saw they were touring, and it really got, us into, like, listening to their music more. And, like, you just see how underrated some of these groups are, where it's like,
yeah, I mean,
people don't know how to feel because they're mixed, but, like, who cares? Like, obviously, Korea, they have their own, like, beliefs and, like, stuff like that. And, but, like, they put out good music, and they're cool, and they're friends, and, there's so much stigma behind them, but I'm glad we were able to see them
yeah,
when we
and
did.
they're well, because I remember liking their EP that they were touring on, because that was kind of when I was doing my series more of listening to new stuff, and then we reacted to two of the songs from that project, and then you really liked them, Icky and Without You. But they're like a little bit of they're a little edgier for
Yeah.
K-pop, and it's all age appropriate because they're older, so there's no no like concerns about anything with that.
Like a Cookie New Jeans situation.
Yeah. So they're I think that made it more fun. Like it
Yeah.
really felt like they were friends with the audience. They were like
Yeah.
a group like that did that really well,
Yeah.
because we weren't even intending to stay very late, and we ended up pretty much staying for the whole thing. We just left like before their last
Icky.
yeah, which they had already played anyway. So I really liked that show. That was
Yeah. It was a
somebody
good
threw
show.
like a bra up on stage, so it was like it had some unique crowd interactions too. So it
I
was
made a
cool
TikTok
theater.
about it. If you want to check out our TikTok,
And yeah,
ENFPXINTJ.
and there's also the vlog there too.
So the next concert we're gonna talk about a little bit is when New Jeans was at Lala, being the first girl group to be at Lala.
And that was a rough one,
It
a
was
little
rough.
bit.
It's a little rough.
But I guess before it was probably like statistically inevitable to happen at some point, like that things would not go perfectly our way as
Yeah.
far as, getting there on time without issues. And it was our first experience, I guess, of the year of it not going as planned for us. And that happens
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. Like concerts, when we go to concerts, usually we're not super late.
We're definitely not early
Not
most
early,
of the time.
but we're not like super
Definitely not
late. Things
early,
don't really go like wrong,
which is very
unfortunately.
lucky for us most of the
Yes,
time.
considering we've
And
been
very
to like
grateful for that.
40-ish concerts. But with New Jeans, they were playing at Lala, and if you know Lala, you know that like, it starts at like noon, it ends at like 11 or whatever. And so as it gets later and later, the bigger artists are there. Like the headliners play last. So New Jeans was playing at 4:30, 4 o'clock,
Somewhere around there.
4:45, something like that. Usually takes us like, on a good day, 45 minutes maybe to get to the city.
But generally no more than an hour.
No more than an hour. It took us an hour and 40 minutes to get to the city of Chicago.
There was a whole bunch of construction that made it
Construction
worse.
plus the festival traffic that we haven't experienced like that. We've driven to festivals before. It was unbelievable. We left at like 2:30 or 3, and we were late. We only saw the last like 15 minutes of New Jeans. It was so sad. It's probably like, it's my biggest regret of all of our concerts, and like just a big regret in life, to be quite honest.
But we still did catch like a few of their songs.
We
We
caught
just didn't
Super
see.
Shy. We caught ETA.
Yeah, the very end of their set, but
Yeah.
but we still saw them there.
Yeah.
We still got to see them on stage.
We waved
They had a couple
our light stick,
which
at
everybody
them.
loved, by the way. The rest of the
That was
show
like
at
the
every other
highlight of
stage.
the night. Everyone with a New Jeans light stick, we were like, it was like, we know why you're here. It was cool. Used it to like flag down people, that we were looking for. And, an EDM set, it would flash. It'd be like, it was cool.
We still got to see them there, and they had a good crowd.
Yeah.
Pretty good crowd for that time of day, and
Yeah.
they were on the biggest stage. But yeah, other than just I thought it was an interesting choice. Seems like Lala has some kind of something going on with Big Hit, Hype.
With Hype, man.
I would have thought Le Seraphim would have been a more natural fit
Oh,
for Lala.
my God. That's
but
on my
New Jeans is pretty
concert
big.
dream list.
Yeah. But at any rate, they were good, but it is one that did not work out in our favor.
Yeah.
But it happens,
Yeah.
So we're lucky so many go right, I would say.
Yeah, I would agree. So after that, we saw G Idol a couple weeks later, and they did not play Oh My God. I was shook. I think that was the one time truly in a concert where I was like, what, like, kind of upset that a song wasn't played. Usually they like play like, all the hits, all the songs I want to hear, but that time I was like, I need it. I feel like I'm withdrawing from that. I don't know, it was so weird, but other than that, we saw them at the Rosemont. They were amazing. Yuki speaks English, and she was so funny.
And so does Minnie.
And Minnie, yeah.
Yeah, I was disappointed that they didn't play Oh My God. I don't think to your same level of disappointment. But and I didn't get. I wanted to hear Senorita, and they did do a little bit of that, like a little acapella thing. But I actually really came to appreciate them a lot as a group after seeing them live, more so than some of the other groups that we've seen. I mean, most groups that we've seen, like, my opinion has been, the same, or I'll usually like them a little bit more because we, know more of their songs and such, but G Idol was they were really great. I like really dove into their discography and um, did a couple like little side project videos on them, but I came to really like appreciate them as a group. Probably like the most. They were probably my most improved with my personal taste, I guess, after seeing
Mhm.
them live. So
Mhm.
um, they were really good.
Yeah, they really were. It was cool.
It's just interesting because I think maybe because of the English or whatever that Soyeon is not was not like so much center stage just
Mhm.
because Yuki and Minnie were able to communicate more naturally with the audience, but they
Yeah.
were all very engaging. They had good solos, um,
Mhm.
and it was fun.
Yeah, it was. All right. After G Idol, we saw aespa in the same month and in the same theater. And they're the first SM group that we saw. I think the only so far.
Our first trip to Gina Jude's
Yes.
was Espa.
Yes, we went to Gina Jude's. Yeah, aespa felt very curated, felt very like to the point. You know, they played all their hits. It
Very
was a lot of fun.
very odd VCRs.
What's with the VCRs nowadays? Like
Theirs were like
Mama Moo's was kind of weird. I mean, it was supposed to tell a story, and I didn't really get it. aespa's was just like it felt like a Gucci
commercials.
ad or
Yeah,
something, you know. And I'm trying to think of who else had like weird VCRs. I mean, G Idols was cute because they were all kind of. It was like a video game
Yeah.
esque or something.
No, their story made sense for theirs.
It's just so
Um,
funny watching these and
yeah,
like thinking they had like they
Stacy's
had
was
to
kind of
make
weird
this
too,
a
but
production. They had to make props. They had to do all of these things for an intermission so that they could change outfits and pee and drink water. Like it's so funny to me.
well,
It's
yeah, you
just
gotta do what you gotta do.
yeah, it's just so
I think some
interesting.
of the groups that we've been seeing lately, the groups that can't afford to do a bunch of VCRs,
Yeah,
will
they
usually just
talk.
do more talking with the
Yeah,
crowd, which is
which I
honestly more
yeah.
fun, I think,
Yeah.
than the VCRs in the first place. But I get that
Yeah.
the VCRs let them take their break, let everyone get a rest or let
Yeah.
everyone change at the same time
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah. I agree.
But I will say that's the only show that didn't start exactly when it was supposed to.
Yeah, usually K-pop
Um,
concerts are like 7:30, 7,
yeah, and
8
that was the point I was
o'clock.
gonna talk about that one more or that point more later. But yeah, that most of them do start on time, like almost always,
Yeah.
and that one was a little bit late, and for it was the only one that seemed like it was late, but also like there wasn't much communication about why it was late or when they were gonna start.
Yeah.
All things considered. But I mean, we were there on time. Our our theory was just that the merch lines were very long,
Yeah.
so a lot of people weren't in their seat,
Yeah, like a quarter of people were in line for merch.
and we accidentally cut an outside merch line, but we didn't buy anything.
Yeah.
But I apologize to the people that were behind us
Yeah.
that we didn't even know we were cutting.
Yeah.
But we didn't end up getting anything that time.
Yeah.
Uh, but that was a fun show. I got confettied on. The vlog for that one I would say is probably pretty good, but it's out there. We were on a really weird incline where we
Yeah,
were
my
standing.
calves
So
hurt
if
at the end of that.
Rosemont Theater in
Yeah.
like the 100 level
Mhm.
will hurt your legs, we decided to not sit there again.
Yeah.
But that was a good show. Savage has been one of my favorite songs in
Yeah.
K-pop, so
Yeah.
they delivered.
Yeah. And then we saw Stacy afterwards at the same theater a couple months later. Oh my God, Stacy is so good. They came out in like Chicago jerseys at one point. That was super cute. Yeah, they definitely showed out. You know, they're one of the I don't know. Yeah, I can still remember it vividly just how like fun it was. You know, they're kind of like a peppier group, very pop, you know, especially with their recent comeback Bubble. and then Teddy Bear. It was just a lot of fun. It was cute.
Yeah,
Um,
and I,
yeah.
w- I will say like they were very engaged in a different way with the crowd. Like they
Mhm.
were very much like having conversations with the audience. I
Yeah.
would say more so like asking if we knew what certain Korean words meant, and like
Mhm.
them asking for clarity on American things, or
Mhm.
like they had asked who were the players that on the jerseys that they were wearing, and like it was very much like it felt like they were trying to a good like exchanging of culture a little bit
Yeah.
more than it was like just a K-pop show during the times that they did talk. So
Yeah.
it seemed like they were a lot less scripted a lot of the time too.
Mhm.
Like very the members seemed to have like the more talkative ones seemed to have shorter attention spans, so a lot was like catching their attention and everything was kind of
Yeah.
jumping around, but it was fun. They did a Polaroid thing under the seats.
Oh yeah, it was like
Remember
a
that?
little game. Like if you could get a Polaroid of a member in certain seats. That was cool. That was the first time we saw that too.
Yeah, the only downside was just very limited merch. I mean, we didn't see
Yeah.
anything. Them and G Idol had like very little.
J-Idol had one shirt. I know that one of the members designed it, but like it was one shirt and it was white and it didn't have any tour dates. It didn't really have anything, so we
Yeah,
didn't get it.
there weren't a
So
lot of options for those, but
yeah.
um, Stacey was another group. I would say my opinion on them like grew after seeing
Yeah.
them, even though I had
Mhm.
already liked them.
Mhm.
Um, and we had seen that YouTube on them being formed and all that, so
Mhm.
it was cool to see them. And it was Friday the 13th that we saw them on,
Oh
but
my
we actually
god.
had okay luck getting there on time and everything.
That's crazy.
And they were, yeah, they were good. They're
Yeah.
like a very K-pop group.
I love it
They
though.
don't like they haven't westernized a whole lot with their sound.
Mhm.
They don't chase too many trends. Like they are just very K-pop
Mhm.
as a
Yeah.
group, and so they were fun to watch, but definitely like a new gen group, like
Mhm.
with like the members that could speak English, like
Mhm.
how they
Mhm.
were engaging with us was like
Mhm.
very much a newer gen group for
Mhm.
sure.
Mhm. All right, so now we're up to our most recent one, which in the past couple of weeks we saw Everglow first. That was amazing. It was again one of the jankier concert setups with a folding chair situation when it could have been GA, but we got premium seats or whatever they're called where
Yeah,
we could sit more towards the front,
but not the most front.
but
There
not
was
the
one
most
tier
front.
above us, which I think they did a meet and greet thing, which we did not see as an option, but they
I don't
announced
know.
it after, and I was very bothered by that
Yeah, there was
because Everglow is
something.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
But Mia was sick,
Mia
or
was
said she
sick,
was
but
sick. She kind of got emotional at the
she
end.
soldiered on. But yeah, it made her cry because she was, she felt bad, and we were, all telling her not to cry and stuff. But that was so good. I mean, considering they had gone on such a long hiatus
Yeah,
for
we
like
were
no
happy they
reason.
were back.
Yes.
But I agree. They played at the Patio Theater in Chicago is what it's
Yeah.
called. It is a like it was cool in like a vintage kind of way.
Mhm.
Uh, but yeah, I agree. If it was just GA without the seats, because that's Everglow's music. They go in,
Yeah, you
but
jump around. Yeah,
but
you
they played
jam.
they played everything they wanted. We would have wanted to hear from them.
Yep.
Um, the crowd engagement was kind of quicker. They didn't do a
Yeah.
ton of talking,
Yeah.
but they filled it more with like music and stuff. So,
Yeah.
um, like
They
I don't remember there being a ton of lulls there.
No, they
Um,
instead of like solo stages, they did, like a K-pop dance kind of, medley. That was cool.
oh
I don't
yeah,
think
that was cool.
they've
I forgot
done that.
about that already.
Yeah, I don't think another group we've seen has done that, which was cool. They played like they did New Jeans and 17, so that was cool. But
And then like Boom Baya. Did they do a full cover of that? I think they did one full song. I think it could have
Yeah.
been Boom Baya, but I don't know. I'm still working on the vlog for that.
Yeah.
I will say that there was somebody in front of me that um, when they were when they were recording, nobody in front of them had their cameras out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and like that gentleman was leaning like into because the seat next to him was open, so he was in the seat in front of me, and then with his camera reaching over into the other seat, which was my filming window. So I did just kind of tap, like give him a tap and just ask him like, "Hey, could you lower it?" Because he had it way up to where,
Like eye level.
yeah, where we couldn't see.
Yeah.
And I more so just meant, hey, keep it in
In your
your own
space.
radius, but you could do whatever with it. I'm only tapping you because you're leaning so far,
Yeah.
and there's no reason for it. But then he didn't take his camera out the whole rest of the time. So I don't know if,
Bully.
yeah. So I'm sorry if you were at that Everglow show and somebody tapped you. I did not mean to say like you can't record or something. I wasn't
It's
trying to be intimidating. I was more just trying to be like,
and
in that moment, hey, you're kind of all you're like taking up three spaces and nobody can see, kind of thing.
it just
Uh,
goes on for like it just goes on to say like concert etiquette, like you wouldn't think that you wouldn't have to reiterate these things to people, but for K-pop fans it can be a problem because with like signs and like all the
yeah,
things you can hold up at a K-pop concert, like those little like fan circle things with their faces on it, and then light sticks, and then everyone's recording. Like you have to keep it within the invisible box that you have. Like you can
yeah,
go like a little bit above your eye line for like your phone. You can't do one of these where it's like all the way up here. You can't do this, get in someone's space, like each like that. Like everyone can film, but you have to stay within like a
yeah,
certain box. You know what I'm saying?
yeah. My rule is like elbows, like touching my ribs or like along my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
Like there's no like maybe the Run the Jewels concert I had my phone up, but that's because
Yeah.
like everybody
Right.
did. It
Yeah.
depends on the
Yeah.
crowd, but
Yeah.
nobody in front of this guy even was like recording, so he didn't need to be up and over.
Yeah.
Um, but I get it. You want to get a good shot.
Yeah.
Um, but I do feel bad because I wasn't saying don't record, but it's like I don't know if he thought I was security or something. I don't know because he just put away that camera real quick
Yeah.
and didn't take it out the whole rest of the time, and
Oh.
there was no opportunity for me to be like, hey, I was just talking. Like it
Yeah.
wasn't quiet enough for me to like have a full conversation explaining what had happened.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a good show, and it was very
Mhm.
satisfying to get to see them. And then we had back-to-back shows. So then we went to Purple Kiss
The very next day.
out in kind of like the suburbs
Yeah, in
in
Skokie.
Skokie. Really cool theater, though. A really nice theater.
Yeah,
Plenty
it's
of
like a
free parking
literal theater, like a musical theater,
for like,
like yeah.
yeah, a North Shore Center of
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
But plenty of free parking, which is
Yeah.
awesome. No traffic getting there. It was really
Nope.
cool.
Yep.
Another selfie one.
Mhm.
Um,
With Purple Kiss.
Purple Kiss, yeah, if I didn't say that. Um, and they did a lot of things really well, actually. I'm working on the vlog right now, but
Mhm.
just a lot of praise to give to them because we didn't film vlog segments for either Everglow or Purple Kiss, so it's just concert footage. But
Mhm.
um, a lot of English speaking members,
Yep.
which helps.
Swan.
So
Yep.
helps with like the engagement part of it.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
For sure.
like with it not feeling as scripted.
Mhm.
Um, Yuki was on Queendom
Love
Puzzles.
Yuki.
Yeah, so that was cool to be able to see her there.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, they're a pretty self-producing group in some ways. At least a lot of them contribute to the songwriting and everything. So it was cool to see. Um, but in addition to being able to get selfies from them, they did I think English versions of 5 of their songs, 4 or 5 of their
Yeah.
title songs,
Yeah. That's
which no other
awesome.
group has done that.
Yeah, and
Like,
ITZY has English versions, but they didn't perform them.
yeah,
It was
no,
interesting.
but they made English versions specifically
For the
for the
tour.
tour. They're not officially released, at least not when I last checked before we saw them.
That's crazy.
So like, yeah, no, like the people posting YouTube videos are the only from the concerts are the only videos out there that I know of their English versions.
Wow.
There's no studio, so that's kind of a boss move to
It
do like
is.
4 or 5 of your. I don't remember offhand. I think it was 5 of them, but
Mm-hmm.
of some of the, like your biggest songs, and it was their first U.S. tour. So like, some of those are songs fans have like only known the Korean or Japanese version of for a few years, waiting to see
Yeah.
them.
Yeah.
And I think their English versions fit really well.
Yeah.
You know, like it, the melody didn't change, like the highlights of the song didn't change. I
Mm-hmm.
feel like the keys were the same as the original. Like
Yeah.
the key, they weren't in a different key or anything, and the
Yeah.
English lyrics from what I've been able to pick up actually worked really well.
Yeah. It was a really good concert. I mean, just the flow of it felt really nice. They didn't have VR, so there was more interaction. And the biggest interaction that we've never
Oh,
seen before.
I was gonna say though that their covered song choices were awesome
Yeah.
too. Like they did like their own remix version of a Michael Bublé song that I had not ever even heard, Sway.
Sway.
That their version is actually, I prefer it in my opinion, but I mean I don't listen to Michael Bublé, but and like Rain on Me was a great choice. Like they didn't play my favorite B side of theirs, but it was fine for like how good the like their choices were with. I think they played all their intros. Their like intros are great, and then just good choices all around. And I mean, they gave us almost 4 or 5 new versions of songs, having to learn an English version of them, and perform them well.
Mm-hmm.
So they did a lot of really good. But as you were saying,
As I was saying, the biggest interaction of the night was when they went into the crowd.
yeah,
Like, what? I'm sure maybe other K-pop groups have done
not
it,
that
but
I've seen though.
from what we've seen, I don't, it was cool. They were like high-fiving people and they were
Every member went to
really, yeah.
every spot.
Yes, they went up each aisle and down and, across and stuff like that. So that was cool. We got a little video of that, but
Yeah, I'm working on that vlog first, even though there's ones that we seen, even though it's the most recent one, just because so many cool things had happened during it,
yeah. Yeah.
that I haven't even been able to like watch that back yet
Yeah.
when they came over. But I know that they like saw that I was recording and like made eye contact with like me and the camera.
Yeah, because we were near the
Um,
aisle too, which is pretty cool.
yeah.
So,
So yeah, they were awesome. Then we did selfies. But we just bought GA and selfie tickets that time, so we didn't do
mm-hmm.
the full VIP, but it kind of felt like it because we still
Yeah.
got to see every member. So
Mm-hmm.
we were just the last ones to get to do it, so we were almost the very last people there,
Yeah.
and it does take a while.
Yeah, it was chaotic, but it was just crazy because I thought that everyone would get bundles to do one with each member, but no, people have biases. So it just took longer with that factor thrown in. And Yuki was my last selfie, and the dude in front of me bought 10 selfie tickets just for Yuki.
Which is crazy. They're not cheap. That would add up, I think, to buy like that many.
10? You
And I
need
think
10 pictures with Yuki?
I saw that guy do multiples with other members too, which is crazy. I mean, I don't want to. Yeah, it's crazy.
It was
It's
wild. I was
crazy.
like, oh my God, this poor girl. She's going to be like, and of course I'm after her, but I try to make it short and sweet. I don't try to like talk to them anymore, cause they're probably so tired. This is after the concert and they have to go somewhere in the next day or the next few days. So I just made it easier for them, and just was like hi and bye, and then the selfie, so.
I did get a couple extra poses on some because I did. I don't want to give away my secret though, so
The secret to getting multiple poses and pictures with idols.
yeah, is to just say, "Oh, let's do your favorite pose, your best pose," and then they like want to do a
There it
couple.
is. That's the secret.
But it's also just because I don't know that many poses, so steal it if you want to, but it's
We're-
mine.
No one can
Also,
be as much as selfie queens as K-pop idols. They are
yeah.
the pros
I
at
even
taking
saw like
selfies.
Yuki adjust my brightness settings as she was like asking me what poses to do.
That's amazing.
And she like did it while like hardly looking. Um, but yeah,
That's
other
so
than it,
funny.
just us being way at the back of the line because they also offered a group plus or U plus,
Yeah.
which was the first time I'd seen that offered where you can take a picture with the whole group, which we didn't do, but those people were before us.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think that wraps up all of the K-pop concerts.
Those are all the concerts we went to, in a totality of our K-pop listening. So what have we learned through our K-pop concert going experience?
We've learned a lot, I would say.
Yeah.
Um, obviously we don't only go to K-pop concerts. There's been
Right.
a lot of, we mentioned Lala. We went to North Coast this year, which is all EDM. We've been to plenty of other concerts. Most of my listening before K-pop was mainly hip-hop, like experimental hip-hop. So we've seen a lot. And I also watched like so I've seen just videos and stuff pop up on YouTube of like concerts are dead, like rap concerts suck, like why concerts keep getting canceled. But it's all mainly about Western artists, obviously, mainstream.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And because I was watching them being like, well, we haven't had that experience for the most part this year, but that's because we've been mainly going to K-pop concerts.
Yeah, they start on time.
Yep, that's the
On time.
number one thing.
7:30. Like on the dot. They got the intro rolling, which is kind of scary because, if you're running a little late, you're gonna miss a little bit of it. The one off, times weren't really explained, but it like 90% of the
Yeah, I
time
mean, it
they're
was
on
really
time.
only aespa that wasn't. I mean, maybe TXT at their first Lala were like 3 minutes late or something, but it's a festival. It's not
Right. They
their
don't
own
have.
tour. But yeah, they are like clockwork, really, with like they start on time, and as long as you don't really have any add-ons or whatever, like they end at reasonable times.
Yeah, like we're home
Um,
at like 10 o'clock or 10:30, and one
yeah,
of the concerts, we went to a Chance the Rapper concert. He started at 10 o'clock.
but like the ticket was like show at 8 or whatever,
Yeah,
and like
yeah,
we didn't know when he was coming out. I mean, he played for a while at least,
yeah.
so it was fine. But we got home really late. We didn't know when he was coming out. And yeah, it was really only the aespa for K-pop that wasn't like right on time.
Yeah,
And I think some of that has to do with like appreciation for the fans, on some
yeah,
level, like
yeah,
because I've seen like other posts and stuff too about like K-pop idols don't like their fans, or like your bias probably doesn't even care about you or whatever. And I don't know, maybe in Korea that's the vibe, but like here I feel like every group is so appreciative to like get to see their fans and then to also realize that they have so many fans in all of these states in this whole other country. So I always feel very appreciated with the K-pop shows that
yeah.
I've really only seen maybe like once with like at least that deep level, but I think any smaller artists for sure. I mean, Run the Jewels, when we saw them, every time we've seen them have always been on time
Mhm.
because they, like they care about the music and they care about their fans. And
Mhm.
then when we saw JPEG Mafia,
Mhm.
he was much more underground at the time we saw him, but he
Mhm.
was rising up.
Mhm.
But like he he signed a bunch of stuff for us, took pictures with us all for
For
free.
free.
Yeah, he just did it to do it, and it was like a line of people. We didn't have any special ticket or anything. It was just all
No.
GA.
Yeah.
But that's just because he loves his fans.
Right.
Like the artists who appreciate their fans. I feel like
They
do it.
automatically also get like good fans. Like, I mean, I know that like with Travis Scott, he loves his fans. His fans are crazy, but they're so deeply loyal to him, but they're like literally actually dangerous.
Right.
But other than that, like, K-pop groups that really take what they do seriously and really, put their heart and their soul into like their work, and then they feel it reciprocated from the fans. I feel like they really give their all like during concerts and stuff, which is cool. I mean, the only like with an example like Blackpink, like they've reached the top of what you could be as a K-pop artist. They have seen the light. They've reached it. They've reached probably personally their own personal goals in a way. I mean, I'm sure, they could do much more.
But even them, I still think Blackpink and them, like, because even with Twice, which was a bigger group, I felt like they still appreciated
But
their
like I'm
fans.
just saying like that's an example where it could like falter to where their heart might not be in it anymore, and so
Oh,
like they're
yeah.
suffering, and then the fans are kind of suffering with like lackluster performances. But it really shows like, K-pop fans, like if like, there's like a give and take with like between fans and idols. I think, we only see like glimpses of that in like Western artists, but there's like a dedication when you're like a K-pop multi-stan.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think but it does definitely seem to be reciprocated by the artists, at
Mhm.
least here, because we've seen like a lot of a lot of members get like emotional when they were like
Yeah.
saying goodbye and stuff, like,
Mhm.
and it makes sense. You're coming to a completely different country and
You
be
don't know
like,
if you're going to come back, like,
yeah, you don't know if I could imagine being like worried that people weren't going to be at the show, like that
Yeah.
they weren't going to be able to get crowds.
Yeah.
Like I think Purple Kiss seemed surprised that like the audience wanted more, or like were requesting B-sides
Mhm.
and stuff.
Mhm.
Like they seem surprised that fans know their B-sides even.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, so if anything, it seems like the groups maybe even underestimate how dedicated their fans are here,
Yeah.
like when they're going on like their first world tours. But yeah, I would say that. I always have felt like we've gotten our money's worth for everyone.
Yeah, for
Like we're
sure.
not all the shows aren't very short. Most of them are like an hour and a half or more, and like the tickets have been generally well priced, at least until recently, um, because we did miss out on Inhyphen
And Hypen.
and Zikers because of like we were priced out on being able to go there.
They were
Even
expensive.
yeah, I mean, I think Zikers were in like the $200 range, um, and Hypen was like for the nosebleeds, way like the furthest back seat, like 150 a ticket,
Mhm.
which I like both those groups a lot, and I would have loved to see them, but I can't for that price when we've paid like most of the shows at Rosemont are like $50, for like a decent seat. So it is really possible to like affordably go see a bunch of these groups when they come. But you do have to kind of buy tickets right away, and they do seem to be going up in pricing, which leads me to believe that, K-pop is continuing to kind of grow in popularity. Uh, but also just like all the groups that we've seen have performed, you know what I mean? Like they're singing live. You could tell. I mean, Yeji with Itzy, like out was loud, like almost blew out the speakers a couple times. I feel like with her, like how loud she sings live. Um, so like you get your money's worth, because a lot of rap artists and stuff will just kind of play the song and just say a few words with it, but mainly just like get hyped to their own songs at their concerts, and it's not even always worth, even if it's $50, it's not always even worth it. But like you get your money's worth.
I think like other groups are seeing how, other groups are touring in the US, and I'm sure they're sharing like how they're, choosing each venue and how they're working it out with the dates and stuff. So I feel like there's more room to grow for K-pop people to come see. I mean, you know, I'm hoping that a lot of bigger groups can see the opportunity, like how Twice is kind of showing out, and come over here too. Like they haven't been before. Like, second gen, third gen groups that haven't even been to the US before for like any kind of tour. So that would be cool.
Shiny.
Yeah. But basically, it's just so interesting that, we don't exclusively go to K-pop concerts. We don't exclusively go to Western. We go to both, and we kind of go into each one with like different mindsets and with a different, I don't know about like attitude, but like going into a K-pop concert, when it's going to start, like really what songs are going to be in there, and you know you kind of expect like, a little bit of talking in between each song, kind of like, the VRs, and like, obviously there's differences. Each group obviously tries to do something different with their tours, but then like Western artists, sometimes you could know the songs, like the set list going into it, but you kind of really don't know like what they're gonna do. And it
Yeah.
could be like an hour and a half, it can be 2 hours, it could be 3 hours, there could be a full-blown intermission in between. Like you just really don't know.
It
So
could be even less. I mean, we saw Kelly Uchis, who was awesome, but her show was only like an hour. But yeah, no, I agree, because with Western artists, do they have an opener or not? Then the opener plays for a while, so we always get to show up a lot later for like, especially if we don't care about the opener.
and we had to change that with K-pop concerts
Yeah,
because
we had to
there
get
ain't
there.
no opener.
Yeah, you got to get there right on time, but
Yeah,
it's reliable.
it is reliable. Yeah.
And like, there's definitely a structure to how K-pop generally does like their set lists.
Yeah, there's a formula there.
Because you get like a pretty big song as like the first song, so
Oh
you
yeah,
need to be there
you gotta entice them, and then you
on
do
time.
and then you do. Yeah, it's very formulaic for sure.
Like Everglow was the first one where I would say like one of their biggest songs was the last song they played,
Right.
which is very common
For Western.
Western artists. Always finish with their most popular songs,
Right.
or
They want you to stay the whole
song,
time.
yeah, the song you want to hear most. But with K-pop, it's pretty random where you might find that. It's usually
Yeah.
like before the encore, or maybe like the first encore will be maybe a song you're waiting on. But
Yeah.
often it's their last like song or two are more like true fan favorites, or like more
Yeah.
like kind of mellow, like songs for them to interact with the audience, I guess, like
Yeah.
get gifts occasionally, or
Yeah.
like sing with their cameras. But it's usually not like their best songs, which maybe makes
Yeah.
sense because of the performance nature of it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That there's choreography and stuff to do, which is
Yeah.
not there for Western. But
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's my thought
Yeah.
on that.
Well, if you guys have any additional thoughts to our conversation about K-pop concerts and all things related, let us know in the comments below. So next week we are going to go live for the very first time We are kind of going to tie in our YouTube channel purpose in terms of reacting. So
Yes.
if you guys want us to react to anything recent, old, out there, K-pop, non-K-pop related, we probably might focus mainly on K-pop. But any
We're open.
suggestions,
Yeah, we're
yes, shoot
pretty
them down below. We're going to just go live and
marathon
react.
them. Yeah,
Yeah, like
and
we do on
just
our YouTube channel.
yeah, we figure it'd be, assuming that we can get it to work without any hiccups, a more fun way to do reactions.
Check out our channel next Saturday. And that's when we're thinking of going live. Check out our socials for the exact time so that you guys can come on and interact with us. And yeah, this was the first episode of our MBTI is K-pop podcast. Thank you guys for listening and or watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.